Good morning, y'all. Happy Friday. Heading into what's going to be a lovely Memorial Day weekend. Super excited for a long weekend, a little bit of a break and a refresh. But before we get into the weekend or the swing of the weekend, we wanted to come back for another YaZo strategy talk. I know this is going to be a fun topic. We've been chatting about this internally and obviously working on a few of these particular type of projects. So we're going to kick it off with the discussion around SEO and AI search. Ma, what are your opening thoughts?
Yeah, so exactly what you said. We have these in terms of, working with clients as their virtual CMO, really. Like this is one of the topics that always comes up. It is SEO and it is changing. So I think it's super important to just come on and talk a little bit about just some simple little tips that people can do to try to stay current. They can do it at whatever level they feel like doing it, really. Just try to stay current, or they can go out and find an expert and try to really ramp it up and really understand SEO right now. But search engine optimization, obviously everyone knows that's what SEO is. So it's basically how you search. And the reason it's changing is because people are changing the way they search.
Yep.
I can't believe how much I have changed how I search, going in and using these AI little chats to go in and search something, and it gives me a whole long, almost like mini research instead of just like, here's the business near you. It actually tells you this business is at the top because XYZ.
Yep.
They're better at whatever, which might be a better fit for you. And I love that because that's the type of person, because I'm a researcher by trade. So like, it's like,
Absolutely.
I love that. Not everybody loves that. So they may go into, like, one of the things we're seeing on the rise is obviously these AI searches, right? But also using social now for searching businesses that they, products. Like you're seeing a lot of products now on social, a lot of businesses on social where you can go in and search for, roofing companies in my area in Altoona, PA, and see what comes up on Facebook, for example, versus just using Google. So Google's being given a run for its money by Meta. People are using LinkedIn now to find businesses. So searching has changed. And I guess the last thing I'll throw out there for everybody that I think is the best tip we can give in a short period of time is like, when is the last time you've revisited your keywords and how people search your business? Have you searched yourself, for example, on ChatGPT to see what comes up about your business? What is being pulled, and is it accurate? Because it might be time for you to go out and update your Google description, your descriptions on Facebook, on Insta, on LinkedIn. When you're blogging, if you're still blogging or you're doing videos like this, are you using words that are how you want people to find you? Because a lot of people are used to writing like SEO blogs, for example. We do a lot of that. Like people are used to making sure that certain words are used in their content over and over and over and over again, building credibility, right? But what about your content on Facebook, on LinkedIn? Are you using those, or are you forgetting about it? And, we're seeing now, like, that's more the way people search than keywords. So like keywords are sort of going down and regular content words coming up. So there's a lot of like technical nuances to this that I'm not talking about.
Sure.
I'm talking about that level of like, do you even know SEO in the content you put out all over the place? Or are you just looking at like, oh, we only have to worry about SEO as to how we write on our website? Because that's not true anymore.
That's a great jumping point. I think the way that you framed it's great, because this isn't meant to be in the weeds, tactile technology talk. This is really more of strategy level, high level awareness to ensure that you understand what's happening in the space and how you can potentially take some of these recommendations or topics that we're talking about and applying them to your business. So
yes,
I really love, what you offered up there. As virtual CMOs or virtual chief marketing officers, we're often asked, what about AI? How do we feel about AI? Right. And I've always said, if you don't embrace it, you're going to get left behind. That doesn't need to be that you have to inject AI into every aspect or element of your business. But what it is allowing you to do is become a lot more tactical in your approach. It frees you up to be able to focus on higher level strategy and be able to bounce ideas off of, frankly, a sounding board like a ChatGPT, of throwing things across to sort of see what's coming back to kickstart some of that creativity, to kickstart some of the strategy. So that's one of the first things that we always talk about. But I love the task that you threw out there of just getting on ChatGPT or something like ChatGPT, the Perplexities of the world, and just searching your business to see what comes back. Because search generative experience is what is really changing, particularly even on Google, right? So when you go on Google now and you type in a question, oftentimes you're so used to results being pushed down. Now it actually gives you a generative response of what you're finding via AI. So it does the summary for you. That very similar happens on Bing, or it will happen on ChatGPT or the Perplexities.
Yeah, and I wanted to just interject that I did this for a client this week, and I just put in like, show me XYZ in my area top, and they came up like fourth. And what was interesting is the 3 businesses ahead, I did not even know. So it's pulling like competitors that I wasn't even aware of. And I'm like, wow, these are competitors I haven't even been aware of in the space that are obviously doing something right, that are getting ahead of this particular client. Now I know what to do to help. Like, I can go out and see, like,
you wouldn't know it if you hadn't done that. So those are just really easy ways of starting to
it's not the same. But what my last thought is, it's not the same when you look for them on Google. It wasn't the same result of the top 4.
And I mean, I to very much preface that, I think that we're not encouraging you to get ahead of yourselves. Google is still the main place for search, but AI search is embedding themselves, particularly if you're looking at search. Perplexity is really a great search tool. I wouldn't say ChatGPT is the best right now. It does recently, they've released a lot of the search and the deep search in their latest models, which is fantastic. But that's another thing that I think folks don't quite understand, is it's just not ChatGPT. There's particular models within ChatGPT that are really good for certain elements. Like if you look at 3.0, I believe, or 3.0 is what they call it. It is really great for like prompt engineering. And then 4.0 is better for certain elements of content and search. So like you have to look at the application of the models within ChatGPT. It's not a one size fits all solution. So that's one piece of it that I always like to say. And then I want to kind of give a quick list of things that you can think about as your business. So obviously we've talked about this, the shift to AI driven search. Definitely something that you need to think about when it comes to intent-based inquiries and conversational inquiries, because that's how AI is really driving that search, is what is the intent and how are you having a conversation with it. So that's point 1. Point 2, which you touched on earlier, is it's content that answers, not content that just ranks. So going back to the first point, conversational intent-based inquiries. You want your content to answer those conversations or questions that are being asked, particularly as it applies to intent. So structured formats like FAQs, how-tos, summaries, that's where AI can very easily pull in featured snippets of your content and apply it to searches. So again, that's really, really important to think about. It's not just content that ranks, still important, but you need to also shift your focus to content that drives answers.
Yes.
The third thing would be, again, going back to a point that you made at the beginning, content audits. Highly encourage you to do that if you're a business owner, if you're a market leader, if you're a sales leader, to take a look at your content that you have, refresh, repurpose existing content. Content is king. Video is king. But we have to get out of our own way of saying, oh my gosh, we have to do a new video, we have to do a new this and a new that and a new. It's not always new. It's about how do you take what you've currently done, provide a fresh take on it. Perhaps a new trend has been in place. You can repurpose that content, because the beauty of it is that content oftentimes lives out there. So the length that it lives there, it helps from a domain authority, and then you can add to that content, build upon it, or better yet, atomize it. So for example, a perfect way to do that would be a video like this. We could take this video, we could post it, We can then create a blog based off of this. We can create short snippets based off of this video. So this video, one video that you could create, ends up being 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pieces of content, depending how you break it apart and reapply it. So that's really, really important. The last two things I just want to share is, it's more of this sort of semantic type search, right? Than just regular base. When we say SEO, to your point, everybody always thinks keywords. It's keywords on page, off page. What is the domain authority? But the way that you can do this is it's basically AI is connecting folks to topics, terms, and entities, not just keywords, right? So the semantic is how do we say it? How do we have this conversation? So that's, again, making sure that you understand the conversations and the intent that's happening. What are the terms that are being said in your place of business that apply and are relevant to your place of business? And then how are you utilizing those within your content sphere? The last thing that I want to, mention is, what are some practical tools? Well, we said ChatGPT, right? That's one that I think that, folks sometimes can use and abuse from a perspective. I would say it is something that should be used as a thought starter, a conversation starter. If you're going to go in and create content, use it in a way that makes sure that you are creating your own custom GPT. Pay for the platform. That way it's not taking your data and training it. That's always something from a privacy perspective. Make sure that you understand the AI governance rules around that. And if you have questions about AI governance, go over to our client Reclamier. They'll help you out. That's just something, as I know I've talked to a lot of other marketers, and it's getting a bad name or a bad rap because folks are going into ChatGPT, they're starting a new chat with no context and saying, write me this blog or create me this content. And then they take it as is, they hit copy, paste, apply, utilize that content without reviewing it. And you and I've had this conversation. It will hallucinate. If you don't do a fact check on what it's doing, or if you don't provide it a framework, a context, or say, hey, create me an outline that you can then expand upon, it could apply things in there that are not true or not applicable to your business. So it
makes up stories. It makes a lot of fictional stories up, which are meant to be anecdotes, but the way that it words it makes it sound like it's actually a real story. Exactly. And it's not applied as an anecdote. So it's like, there's a lot of things that, you need to be aware of. And and I'll hold that the last thought I had for ending, but yeah.
I think the last thing that I want to plug, and then we can kind of start to wrap this up, because we are trying to keep these short, sweet, digestible, no more than 15 minutes. And I know that we are butting up against that. But that example that I gave earlier about just, providing some framework, you can connect tools together to really do what you need to do from a research perspective. For example, you could go to the Perplexity, do research, do deep research, get a list of sources, take those sources and the research that's provided, apply that to your ChatGPT chat or whatever you have going on, and say, this is the framework that I'm trying to work off of. Here's the outline that I want to create, and then start to get ideas using that as the basis. So that's a way that you can kind of connect tools and take it to the next level of a content creation perspective. But man, it's super exciting, all the tools that are out there. AI is going to change our world. But folks, it's not about being scared. It's about embracing it and applying it to your business, because if you don't, you will get left behind. And I'm not saying that to create fear. I'm just saying it to get you excited about what are the opportunities that are available to you. Because, even what they've just released with some of the Google Labs with Flow, you can create the content that you're going to be able to create. It's going to be able to be done in a more cost-effective way. I'm thinking back to my black coffee production days. Boy, production is going to change quite a bit with now what you can do with AI. But the beautiful part about that is it's putting the power back in the hands of the smaller, medium-sized businesses that previously had budget constraints. They now can do a lot more by leveraging some of these tools. So just encourage you to think about all of those things. And I'd love, kind of sum it up, Mom, for us.
Yeah. So two things that I'll just say in the end. One is, I believe, and of course I'm older, but I believe that you still need to hold on to your skills. Like for a writer, like in an editor, you need to be able to write without ChatGPT or any of the tools. So I always encourage people to write at least your outlines, your deep summary, like your summaries of the points that you want to make. Like you need to hold on. We don't know. We cannot rely on AI to literally like take away everything that we do as humans. And that's where the conversation gets sticky, because you need to embrace it and not be afraid, because you will get left behind. But you also need to like have skills that we were
Stay up
given,
to snuff.
God-given skills and talents, and use them, right? And be able to work, because you are in control of the AI. The AI is not in control of you. That's how I look at it. So the last thing that I'll say is, one of the conversations I had recently was like, well, is it here to stay in terms of like SEO and search? Because right now, a lot of people are saying, and you can go out and research this and find it online, that there's a curiosity element to why AI search is so high right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true, because everybody's curious. 90-year-olds are curious. 20-year-olds are curious, and everybody in between. That's a 70-year span. I mean, more than that, but like everybody's curious. What is this? So they're going out and they're starting to search things that they're interested in on like the free versions of ChatGPT and the different tools that are out there. And that's why it's high. It's high right now. People are saying that. Well, there is an element of that going on. Curiosity searches are happening. People are curious about the tool. You know how it is. If you start like going out there and asking it questions, it's like you could be on there for a day.
All day. Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact, like what Eli said, is it is being built into everything now.
Mm-hmm.
So every task, so understanding it, asking it things that, in like seeing what it says back, seeing how it still makes mistakes or makes up things, getting out there, framing your business in terms of how are you searching? How are people searching now? How do I need to change my phrases to be more conversational? Like that's just smart.
It is. Yeah.
You can't just say, oh, this is just curiosity and it's going to go away in 3 years. You have to be smart and relevant.
Good.
So
Good.
yes, there is an element of that happening. But it's not going anywhere.
No.
More than likely. I mean, we don't know, like some major thing could happen, take out the whole system. I don't know, but I'm just saying you have to be smart as a business owner, right?
Absolutely. And I think the thing that we should leave it with is you made a really great point, is it should not replace your skills. It should embrace and empower your skills. It should be a force multiplier, right? We talk about that with Covenant and their platform that they have with Scout. It's an AI first platform that has now become an HR or hiring force multiplier, right? And putting the power back in the skills of the recruiter, in the hands of the recruiter and the managers, and those acquisition leaders. So it should not replace your skills, and it should not make you be, what we always say, dumbed down. It should actually allow you to free you up, to give you space to continue to hone in your craft, and to stay up to snuff on the latest and greatest what's out there. And I think the more that you lean in and embrace it, the more that you'll see the applications that are available to you. So the last thing that I'll say is, AI learns the more that you use it. So the more that you use it, the better it gets for your context or your scenario. So start today, because if you wait to start, it's going to take a while to continue to get better.
Yes.
You have questions on SEO, you have questions on AI search, or just, you're looking for a VCMO partner or a strategy partner to be as a sounding board. We would love to have a conversation with you. We're always open to discovery chat. So don't hesitate to give us a shout. But we appreciate you tuning in. We're just under the 20-minute mark, so I think we met our goal. We're keeping it short and sweet and digestible, but we appreciate you all. Love you all. Have a wonderful, beautiful, incredible Memorial Day weekend. Unplug, get a little bit of necessary R&R.
Be blessed.
Be blessed. We love you all. It's good to see you. Happy Friday, everybody. Take care.
Bye.